Hello everyone and welcome to another Roaring Records tutorial. This is going to be a continuation of our previous video where we were learning about synthesizer basics in SoundTrap. So we are going to recall the same exact screen that we had the first time. We've set our oscillator such that we have this sound now being made as our synthesizer sound. Which is kind of cool. So we set up our oscillators to be that. Now we want to talk about this filter section. So a filter is a really important device, and let's first understand exactly what a filter is. So I'm going to use my handy dandy drawing board for just a minute to try to help explain what a filter is and why it would be important. So if we think about frequency as a line that goes across, hopefully all of you have seen an equalizer graph before. We've got our lowest hearing ability as at 20 hertz and our highest hearing ability as at 20,000 hertz. Now, oftentimes when you're working with an equalizer, you'll find a shape that looks like this. This is called a high pass filter, and often abbreviated HPF for high pass filter. It allows the things that are higher than the filter line to come through. And the steepness of this line is often called a 12 dB curve or a 24 dB curve, depending on how it goes. Now, I will say it tends to have a hump that comes in right before it levels out for the rest of the thing. This in our filters and synthesizers is often going to be called the resonance, often abbreviated RES. There's also a filter on the high end that's called the low pass filter because it lets things that are below the line be filtered through. This is probably your more popular synth choice, and again, it generally has a bump above it, and that's called your resonance there as well. There's another option. If you move a high pass filter up and a low pass filter down, you can get kind of a filter that looks like this. This is called a band pass because it is a frequency band that is allowing through. So you have the high pass filter, the low pass filter, and the band pass filter. So now I'm going to remove that, and we understand the different shape filters that we have available to us. So if those are the shape filters we have, we need a way to select that. Well, that is right here, and it's important that you select the filter that you want. So here's a high pass 12 dB filter, a band pass, a peak pass, a low pass, and a low pass that's a little more aggressive. And then you have the options for attack, decay, sustain, and release. So the attack time determines how much time after you press the MIDI key that you want the filter to fully enter. The decay is how it backs off. The sustain is how much it backs off. And then the release is how much time after you let go of the key that you want the filter to be removed. So attack, decay, and release are all time sensitive, while sustain is volume sensitive, or level sensitive, I should say. So let me pull up my whiteboard one more time and talk through that as a diagram. So if you are in the attack phase, we're talking time as it moves across. Here's the attack phase. And then there will be the decay phase. And then the sustain and release phases. So this is the point you actually let go of the key right there. So that's pretty neat to understand how that shape actually works. So let's see how that affects our sound. So there's a low pass, band pass, a peak filter, and then our high pass. So what if we do our low pass filter, but it doesn't engage quite as quickly? So there it engaged fully and then backed off a little slower. Now it decayed slower. That was a really fast decay. Have it sustain at a higher level. And now it releases at a slow or a faster speed. The cutoff frequency is where you actually want the filter to hang out. So how far down the line do you want that low pass filter to actually come? The lower the frequency, the less high sounds you get. The higher, the more of those bright high sounds you get. The resonance controls how big that bump is that we talked about on the top of the filter. The envelope has to do with this and how much of that effect. If you turn it all the way up, you're getting a full enveloped effect. Whereas if you turn it down, it's blending it from no envelope to the regular sound to the enveloped sound. So it's probably going to be that you want to leave it up a good bit. So these different filter capacities are adjusting how those filters move after you press the actual piano key. So that is adjusting for the filter.